Hello, how's it going? My name's Keith. I'm working on a game called Doc King. I'm an indie slash hobby game developer, and today we're talking about AI in video games. Should you use it? Should you not use it? In 2025, what does that look like? It's a hot topic right now. It depends who you are. If you're a game developer, if you're a game artist, if you're a game programmer, all of these roles view this topic quite differently from what I've seen. So first, we have to define what are these different types of AI. When you say AI, what are you talking about? First, AI for generative art, aka the devil, according to some people. So this is if you are using an AI model and it's generating 2D, 3D art, music, sound effects, basically any artistic endeavor that is getting generated on the fly by some prompts. So for the most part, these have been trained on art without consent, which is very bad. We will get to that though. That is the first type. The second type are LLMs, the most famous of which is ChatGPT. There are a bunch of others like Claude, Anthropic, and these are used for many things, but the part we'll be focused on is dialogue for your game, gameplay ideas, naming ideas, general game design. Okay, and then the third is ChatGPT again, but now including Copilot and any other AI models that are for coding. Okay, specifically for coding. This changes things because now it's not for an artistic endeavor, it's just for programming, which philosophically, I'm a software engineer by trade, so I'm still not a big fan of this. May automate my whole career away. Not great. We will get into whether this should be allowed to be used though. Okay, two more. The fourth one is AI models in games themselves. This one's very interesting to me because I think there are new game mechanics, new games entirely that are made possible by the result of including a model within your game. This looks like, maybe you have a little puzzle game where you push a ball around a puzzle like a rat in a maze. And this AI model in the game is, stupid. It starts stupid, but it learns from the way that you push the ball and then trains itself to get better. And your whole objective of the game is to make sure that the AI does not get smart enough to beat you before you can solve all of the puzzles. That isn't really possible with classical AI, which is the fifth and final AI, old school AI agents. These are what AI used to mean before ChatGPT came along. And they basically involve behind the scenes, a bunch of binary search trees and decision trees and branching logic and state machines. And they are just sophisticated state machines, essentially. I'm no expert, but you could essentially think of it like they are just making decisions based on input. So that is the old school AI, okay? Now let's talk about general feelings and vibes right now on AI. Pretty bad. People don't like it. People are not fans of AI. It's taking jobs, it's ruining careers, it's making everyone hate life and looking at the future in a really bleak way. Everyone's nihilistic now. And by everybody, I mean anyone who got an art degree or design degree in game development. It's a bad time for them. So, consumers may not quite care as much. If you look at the average gamer, they're going to have a much different take than somebody who's in the industry or just a general artist who can, sympathize with the artists in the game industry. So consumers may not care right now. And I think programmers and solo devs are maybe a little bit on both sides of that story from what I've seen. So yeah, as of right now, basically AI is bad. I think that's the general take. So if you care at all about how people feel about AI, then that's worth knowing. Okay, so my opinions on using AI as a solo developer. Well, it's complicated. So for generative AI, I'd say if you must use it, if for some reason you're just so drawn to generative AI, you love it for some reason, it is a tool, it is a new technology, you're free to like this thing. No one can stop you from using it and enjoying it. But if you must use it, the best way to use it is to find one that has not been trained on non-consenting art. Make sure you're using one that did not scrape all of ArtStation, all of DeviantArt, all of whatever, and just used all of that for its algorithm. Looking at Midjourney, find one that's better. I think as time goes on, we're going to see this more, hopefully more, where either companies have paid for a ton of art and now have trained a model just on that art that they've paid for, and thus the artists are getting paid, hopefully with big paychecks. That may happen, and then you can feel better about using the AI. Even better, which I'm not seeing yet, but hopefully in the future, is if we had a system where artists themselves could train individual models and sell access to those models. So let's say I create a bunch of pixel art. I'm a big pixel artist. I train a model exclusively on my own art, and now that model is a specialist at my style. It only knows my style. I give you access as the artist for $10 a month, and now we're paying artists again for their work. Yes, we are still generating AI, but at least that money is going into the artist's pocket. I think that's the that's the ideal scenario for using generative AI. But in general, I'd say don't use it. Okay, for writing with LLMs. This one is pretty tough for me right now. I don't know for sure that I will not use ChatGPT to write some dialogue for my game. I am not in the position that I would have paid a writer. We'll get to that in a second, but that's kind of my golden rule. So I feel like I'm not costing anyone their job by using it for writing. Is the writing going to be good from an AI? Probably not right now. Not great. There's going to be style concerns, consistency concerns with the way it's writing. It might write in a manner that's AI, but if you get past that, I think you could probably be comfortable using one. I'd say if you ever get to the size of a mid-sized studio, though, it'd be nice to give work to the game writers because they are often, I think, kind of thought about last. So, they're in a similar spot as the artists right now. As far as coding AI goes, I don't think there's a problem. Yes, it's going to eventually probably get rid of my career and a bunch of other careers, but that's just how technology goes. Like, there's always something automating something. So, yeah, I would recommend it. If you are a beginning coder, I'd just like to say you should treat it like a teacher instead of a tool. I don't think you're going to learn as much if you just have it help you accomplish things all the time. You don't need to, but you should be treating it like someone who can teach you at the same time. So yes, use it to help you create a system in Unity that's a upside down physics system, and it works on a circular axis so that you could have planets and the gravity applies to the planet. Yes, use it to help you make that. At the same time, have it explain to you how all of those physics systems work, how all the math works behind the scenes. Make sure you learn what you're doing. Don't just do it, because otherwise you won't be able to do it in the future. You haven't really learned anything at all. Yes, you've accomplished something with the help of AI, but it's much better in the long term if you actually understand what's going on. Okay. Should you be able to use AI models in games? I think you should be able to use these. I think there's a lot of cool stuff that could happen with these AI agents. I know it's a little cheesy. NVIDIA has some demo out with, AI agents with dialogue and yada yada. I think it's going to be a little gimmicky for a while, but I think it could introduce us to a lot of game mechanics that were not available with old school AI. And I'm thinking about NPCs in video games that are more full-bodied characters. They almost might seem like people once we get advanced enough, who all have their own individual motives and such. And this is all just controlled through AI. I'm happy to see that system come into play. But we just have to be careful not to blur the line too much so that, everything's created. That's another discussion. I think it should be allowed. The golden rule I've decided to follow is, if AI did not exist, would I pay somebody to do this? Would I have paid in the past if this new AI technology did not exist? If the answer is yes, then I think you should still pay somebody. If the answer is no, you're probably fine. That's the rule I'm using going forward. I think it covers most of the cases. But the one big but is this may change quickly, and that is because the hard truth about the future of AI in video games is that consumers are probably not going to care. I mean, so many people have iPhones and they don't give a shit about the kids mining in Africa, to get them the phone. They just don't care. It's too far removed from them. Similarly, my nephew's not going to care that they used AI to make this game that he loves. Neither is his mom who bought it for him. The average consumer, video game consumer, is not going to care about this. And I think in the end, it's going to be a losing battle, but I hope people keep fighting because I think it's worth fighting for. It's beautiful to have so much artistry in one field, and video games is one of the most, I'm not sure the word, but has the most types of art in it. And that's a lot of artistry lost. So I really hope we win the fight. But I think the hard truth is that we're going to reach a point very soon where studios have to make, and I'm not talking just big studios, but small solo devs too, that want to make a living or are, maybe that's their only way of making a living. Say they have a family and they have no other job besides working McDonald's, and now they're stuck in this career. If that person has to now make the choice of, am I going to use AI so that I can actually compete with these other studios that are clearly also using AI, they will probably choose to use that AI. So I think we're going to reach that point fairly soon, and that's when it's going to be a lot of tough decisions for game developers. But hopefully that's not this year. Okay, finally, if you are the person who is following the rule of not using generative AI for your game, then I would say you should make that known. If you are someone who's thinking really hard about this subject, then make sure it's known somehow, because soon it's going to be hard to distinguish probably between AI art and human art, and you want proof that yours is human. So record you making your art, record you making your game, go out there and support artists. When you hire artists, make it known, put them in the credits, just do things right and make it clear that you're doing things right. And now more than ever, it's going to be important to do so. So, all right, well, that's all I got. Thank you, Wishlist Doc King, if you're interested, and I'll see you later.